I've been playing some Trials Bounties because they say this as a fire team. Those three words mean so much to me. When I first started playing Destiny, way back in the first line multiplayer game ever before, most times my MMORPG is a lot of fun. So I kind of expected that maybe that'd be kind of the thing here with this, with the appropriate or accompanying little bits of melodrama and ego, and of course make it just be a date night for them. Um, that's a story for another time and another content. But anyway, so I got really excited about wanting to play some Trials because I have pretty much nothing else left to really do in the game as far as my goals are concerned, except roll some engrams and play a little gotcha. And then it hit me, back when Destiny was first being hyped to me, kicked again. Beaver this time. So yeah, still excited to play Destiny 2, in spite of the fact that Um, their connection issues this weekend has just been like fucking amazing. I don't really know what the problem is. My internet is fantastic. I've only lost my stream once, and I mean, I got. Now, to be fair, I do have a Chromebook running on Wi-Fi. I have my phone running on Wi-Fi, and I have my PlayStation running on Wi-Fi. But that's never been a problem before. I can have all three of these devices going and running Conan Exiles, which has an entire map of interactables and not have very much problems. No, not outside of like somebody actively cheating, and that's really the only time that I ever have a problem in this game. I don't care about a stuttering boss or a laggy damage delivery. If my upload's not the fastest, I know I'm going to play a supportive role as much as I can. But if my upload is good and my download is excellent, I'm going straight into Trials. And I was super excited when I saw that. Hey, it looks like my internet connection's been pretty stable this whole week, and this weekend's doing pretty good. I've been able to play my other games with no problems whatsoever. I get into Destiny, and yeah, we have some issues. So yeah, there were a couple of matches where it's like I really felt like I was being fed to another account, and this is what I'm talking about. When Destiny was first sold to me by the brick and mortar, retailer, I understand a lot of what they were saying is hyperbole and it's advertising, it's marketing. I was in retail for a very long time. I know how the sales pitches go. But Skyrim, and I'm like, no, not really. I can just from what I know of the game before it's launched, it's not really going to be like Skyrim. It's going to be more like Halo with a bit more free roaming exploration going on in there. But you're really still limited to just this one map. You really are just there to shoot enemies in the face and maybe do some PvP. And I was not looking forward to doing PvP when I got Destiny. I didn't know shit one about the raids. I heard about them, but I didn't know anything what they were going to entail. I didn't realize because I had never played actual full-on MMORPGs before. I've never played any any multiplayer game online. Most of my video gaming has been offline. It's been player one, and and it's been a funny thing in player one games. I don't like having to rely on the internet for. I was really grateful to the fact that Bungie didn't do that, but apparently, on the heels of their whole new expansion, which is like the final three chapters of the Light versus Dark saga, and it's just been really kind of, I don't know, sad is the only way I put it. But I'm still excited to play, and I'm actually going to be playing free to play as of the new season, as of the new expansion. I'm not going to buy the new expansion unless, I don't know, the Long Tomorrow armor set for the Hunter. I mean, if that gets put behind a paywall, I might buy that. Just like I bought the Galahorn, basically. Um, no, come on, more weasels. I just want to collect my. I want to set my rank and collect my engram, guys. Come on, this is really. But anyway, I'm still excited to play Destiny, in spite of the fact that it's not a shared world because you're in competition with everybody all the time, including your own fire team half the time. And when you go into PvP, it's not 6v6, it's 1v11 because every bounty is requiring you to get the final blow, and you're competing for kills with your teammates. Even when I was in an actual constructed fire team, myself, my son, our friends, and we were playing, we were still kind of like, on the one-upmanship kind of thing, which was still a good sport. But when it came down to doing a bounty, we knew, okay, I got to hold off. I can soften up that target, but you got to get the final blow, and I'm only going to give you one chance, and then I'm going to take it myself. And that was understood with us. And then when I play rando, freelance or whatever you want to call it, yeah, I don't normally chase bounties except for the gunsmith stuff, but then I can go to a lost sector for that. Um, but then with trials, it's like as a fire team. I mean, those are the three most beautiful words in this game. As a fire team, that's what every bounty should be. If it's not like just defeat opponents, or I mean, this is what you normally get in Crucible and Iron Banner. You know, um, and it's like, I mean, win rounds, okay, yeah, you have to do that as a fire team too. But I mean, if Crucible is all about honing your skills against the most deadly opponents in the galaxy, which is, of course, is other Guardians, or Light Bearers, really, but we're going to start calling them generically Light Bearers. Um, it's kind of like, it's also about team building. It's like I was freelancing a couple of matches yesterday, and I ended up in a lobby with a person that twice. And the first time they weren't on headset, they weren't on mic. I didn't see their microphone, and I know this is going to be a thing. Come on. But anyway, so I told him, "So, dude, I'm going to guns, and I'm going to lock them down. There's only three approaches on a gun, and there's only two approaches, three approaches on the guns. There's the approach from the other side of the map, the approach from where you just came, and the approach which leads right down there, and it's congested, so there's not really much room they can slide in, because sliding is the thing in Crucible in general. Trials is really, really, really there a lot. In spite of the fact that they've done everything they could to kind of nerf it down a little bit, it doesn't seem to really affect aimbots. But but yeah, so this other person who was, I could see their mic was on, but I mean they're connected, but they could hear me. Basically, long story short, they could hear me. And so the two of us sat there, and I watched the C-bound lane, and they watched our flank and our rear, and we won the match in spite of the fact that our third rando was aping in for the heavy ammo, or I don't know, trying to farm the enemy off the heavy. He kept getting killed over and over and over. We still won the match. And then the second lobby, we went in. I told him, same strat. I'm going straight to the guns. No matter what side we spawned on, I went for those guns. And yeah, we did a great job. We didn't win, but we still it was effective. And that's the thing about when you play Crucible, you're trying to coordinate with people who aren't your friends. There's common language in PvP. There's common language in strikes and things like that. If you play the game enough and you play it well enough, and you're watching the supportive community out there that's talking about strategies and effects and things like that, um, then you will acclimate to all that dialogue. You'll have that unspoken dialogue with your teammates, and I love that. I love team play in games. I love team play, or just leave me alone. I'll either go Rumble or I'll go Control. And Trials, I don't really go for the small force, PvP, except for on the tabletop. I love Kill Team, and 5 Parsecs from Home. I haven't played Frostgrave or Stargrave yet, but I hear it's a small team skirmish type game, and I'm excited to give it a go when I get the time to. But not a really big fan of the 3v3 matchup, because it's hard to, if you've got that one person who's there to either A, farm reputation, so they're throwing themselves into the enemy, or B, stroking their egos, so they're overly confident and think that you're there to support them, treating people like high functioning NPCs. Then it's kind of like, there's not really any synergy there, because even in a three-man team, even just one person trying to outplay themselves is going to fuck everybody up. Um, and I'm not a strong PvP player. I know this. I'm about a little bit below average in my opinion. Um, But I know that, you know, if I know I'm an easy target, I try not to become that target. I keep moving on the map if I have to, and depending on, you know, what the map we have, like Twilight Gap is super easy. You just go to guns. Don't go to B. Don't hang at C. Don't hang at A. Don't go to the middle. Don't hang out at the crates. You know, that kind of stuff with the cliffs. Go straight to the guns, and you got your lockdown. You know, first of all, they got to hop across that shit. Puts them in the air, totally exposed. And because Bungie's jump physics are so unrealistic and everybody just likes to float everywhere, and most people are playing Warlocks and Titans, which float even more than Hunters, you've got a pretty good time to go ahead and line up a shot and get a kill. I recommend a high impact, medium range, decent rate of fire gun. You know, something that when it lands, even if it's a body shot, it's going to do significant stagger damage. So when they do come down, they're not going to be able to get a lock on you. Um, and as I said, this is the whole point behind being by getting to guns and finding those kinds of locations on the maps is a fun puzzle to play. But I don't know. It's like then Bungie does this, and this is all about their peer to peer bullshit, and then they throw crossplay on it, and I'm like, you know, Destiny really isn't an MMORPG. It is not a shared world first person shooter looter power fantasy because first of all, none of the bounties except for the trials ones say as a fire team. So there's really no sharing going on here. You're always in competition with everybody else, you know, to get the kills, to get the loot, to whatever. You're not always in first person. Melees, grenades, sometimes your supers, your swords, they all take you out of fucking first person. You don't, and that's jarring for me. I really don't like it. I wish there was an option in the controls to just stay in first person no matter what the fuck you're doing. Um, it's not always a shooter because you're always running out of ammo, unless of course you're doing like I'm doing and focusing on just getting really, really good with a selection of primary weapons and just keeping the ones that require ammo on a regular as in your vault to just use them for like things like with the Banshee, you know, doing the gunsmith bounties. Looter, the loot is mediocre at best on average. Okay, it's kind of like in a world of $100 bills, you're really finding mostly nickels. And Power Fantasy, you know, not really feeling all that powerful. I feel powerful when I launch a rocket into my enemies. I feel powerful when I see a grenade bounce right into their faces. I feel powerful when my super comes up and I don't get blasted out of the sky halfway through my first animation. Hunter supers have four animations. Did you know that? There's the pre-launch of your super animation where you do this like flourish, and it's like a half a second, throws you up in the air sometimes. Most times it throws you up in the air, so you're totally exposed out of cover. Then there's the actual launching animation, which starts off at about maybe point 3, point 4, maybe seconds. And when you got TDKs measuring down to point 7, that's right there. You're dead. You're not even gotten into your second animation through your second animation, and whoever's got a lock on you is killing you. You're dead. You're gone. Then you actually have the super going off. And for hunters, if it's our roaming super, like the void stealth one, uh, well, actually, pretty much all of our roaming supers. If it's a roaming super, you've got very limited time because people are just going to fucking blast into your ass. Um, and then you know it's kind of like then you have the fucking so it's like so it's got you got the pre-launch, you got the launch, you got the actual super, and then you got the AOE effect if you got one, a dot, excuse me, damage over time effect afterwards. And you know the stasis super for the hunter is a perfect example of all that. The blade barrage only has like three animations really. Um, well, actually, it's got four because then the launching is the blades going through the air and then of course impacting your enemy, and that's a lot of time. Whereas with like the Titan Super, you jump, you crash, blast, three quick. I've never been. I don't think I've ever been shot out of my Titan Super. I've been shot out of my Warlock Super a few times only because I just Warlocks are all about flow and timing, and I just don't really have that. But so yeah, so calling it a shared world first person shooter looter power fantasy, clumsy as fuck, of course, but it does hit most of the notes that they're intending, but yet that doesn't seem to happen a lot. Still, I'm very excited to play Destiny. And then they're like talking about, well, we're going to make it into an MMORPG. So like after this Light Darkness saga, I guess we're supposed to go like to Final Fantasy 14 kind of style, because I don't see Destiny really becoming anything like Elder Scrolls Online or World of Warcraft. Um, in fact, I hate to say it, but I kind of see Destiny going the way of Smite or Pokemon Unity or something like that, or whatever it's called. Because the more I see Destiny and for what it is, and like I said, Destiny 1 was that shared world shooter looter thing. Um, Destiny 2 really is formatting itself to be more of an app game, especially with the whole introduction to free to play. And one of the things I've discovered with free to play games as apps is that free to play exists for two reasons. One, they're hoping that you'll hit that paywall and be super excited and have been investing so much energy into the game that you're gonna be like, oh, what's $20? What's $50? What's $150? And you'll buy into it. Or two, if you're not gonna buy into the game and you just continue playing free to play, eventually you become fodder for the whales. And the whales are the guys who are guys and gals who are dumping hundreds of dollars at a time into the game to get cosmetics, to get champions or gear or whatever you want to call it, depending on what you're playing. Um, and I've seen this in Raid Shadow Legends, which I like. I like playing Raid Shadow Legends because it's like Pokemon for me without all the wandering around in the maps. It's just straight battles, and which is interesting because I like exploration sometimes. Most times I just want to get in and mess things up and then get out. And that's kind of like my, because I'm an old arcade kid, pay to play has been part of my video gaming culture since the 80s, and I have no problem paying subscriptions to play games. I mean, I used to drop $10 to $20 a weekend just playing Pac-Man, Asteroids, and Space Invaders. So what am I going to complain about? $15 a month to play an MMORPG like Elder Scrolls Online, or if I'm going to pay $10 or $5 a season, to play anything else. It's not, in my opinion, it's not a problem. But I don't like paying for something that doesn't fulfill its claims. Nobody does. I don't know of anybody who really does. Um, if I had the discretional income, I'd probably be supporting a few of the YouTube channels with Patreon that I enjoy watching a lot. I've actually learned quite a bit from, but I don't have that kind of income. And this is part of the reason why I'm going free to play in the new season. But more, it's about the fact that Destiny 2 has just been underperforming for me. Why should I pay for a full season if the only thing I'm doing on the daily is a little bit of Light Crucible and the Gunsmith bounties to get enhancement cores? So just in case I get something that I really think is good for my character, I can level it up. If that's all I'm doing, I shouldn't. I don't feel the need to pay for it if I don't have to. I mean, I'm already paying for PlayStation Plus just to get access to the online environment. And if Bungie ever makes an offline version of Destiny, it's probably pretty much where I'm going to be. I'll probably be there. It'd be really nice if there was an offline version of this game that you can play. I mean, there's an offline version for Conan Exiles. There's an offline version uh, for Minecraft, and there's also PvP for all that stuff too. So I don't understand. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We got about a month to go. My mind may change. I may, at the very last minute, pull my chute and buy into the full annual pass like I always do, and then bitch and moan about it for the next 8 months because I'll be like, oh my god, what did I do this for? But I don't know. Sometimes it's kind of like I almost would rather miss out on something cool than be disappointed by a bunch of underwhelming, because if we're getting close to the end of this story, such as it is, and it'd be kind of neat to see what's going to happen in the future. Will our light bearers, be disbanded? Will there still be a tower? Will the last city still be standing? Who knows? Who cares? I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do some management here, and then that's it. Thanks for stopping by.